Welcome, guys, to the MMOs.com podcast, episode 129. Altai here, joined this week by
Omer.
All right.
We have a good podcast this week as usual, and we'll jump right to that weekly raid. Hit us up with that raid, huh?
Right.
I'm ready for the raid check.
The raid this week is, do you still have faith in crowdfunded MMORPGs? Two-pronged question here. One is, any of the current slew of crowdfunded games? And two, in the model itself. Okay? Summer, what do you think? I'll share my thoughts after.
I think I'm probably not very optimistic about this. I've never been optimistic about crowdfunded MMOs. The concept is still great on paper, where you can cut out publishers, you can work with developers, you can work directly with fans of the game, enthusiasts to fund their game. But honestly, seeing the progression of games like Crowfall, Star Citizen, and Albion Online, and countless other crowdfunded games, I've actually grown an appreciation for maybe some of the business discipline that comes from working with real investors and real companies. And perhaps a bit unrelated, but Metal Gear Solid 5 and Hideo Kojima's drama with Konami kind of reflects that as well. He was kind of forced to release the game, and arguably, obviously, all the gamers take the side of Hideo Kojima because he made Metal Gear Solid. The guy's a genius. He makes some quality games. Though I think Metal Gear Solid 2 is still the best game in the series. People like taking the side of the artist, the creative. But the reality is, without people pushing for deadlines and trying to make things happen, games are just not going to come out. And I think we're seeing that with a lot of these crowdfunding games. Look at a game like Star Citizen. Look at their original release date and look at where we are today. There is still no release date to be found. The MMOs.com release date for Star Citizen is in 2183 right now. It's official. It's on the MMOs.com page, right? And Crowfall recently got pushed back as well. I mean, their original release date, even if they released tomorrow, they'd be over a year late. But now they said, the release date is pushed back into 2018. Their beta testing is pushed back to 2018 at least. So who knows, when the game is actually going to finally happen. And we've seen a lot of crowdfunding games just go nowhere. So I don't know. My faith in crowdfunded MMORPGs has always been questionable. And I am so confident that Ashes of Creation and Chronicles of Elyria are going to be, pretty much vaporware as well. But we'll have to wait and see. 5 years later, we'll see if they're vaporware or not. But I am those games seem even less likely to happen to me than Star Citizen. I don't think Star Citizen is going to be able to fulfill all its promises, but I think we will get a product. Something will release that's going to be encompassing what they wanted to do. It may not, do it well, but I think we'll get a product out of them. I think Camelot Unchained will give us a product as well. But I don't think games like Chronicles of Elyria or Ashes of Creation will get us what we want or will give us anything. But yeah, I never had too much faith, and it looks to be that faith is waning.
Yeah, that's a good point you made with the the creative side, right? Is never complete. Art is never finished or complete. So it takes people who are trained in the other side, right, of making the hard decisions, deadlines, sacrifices. Because any release date is a compromise, right? And right now with all these crowdfunding games, every incentive is to keep going with the current, Kickstarter crowdfunding, and just keep raising money. Because Star Citizen can always keep pushing back, keep adding features, keep asking for more money. If they never release, they're never really called out on it. You don't know if the game's gonna be good or bad, so you got to keep, certain people keep giving them money over and over again. So it's I think the model itself is flawed, not just the current crop of games that used it.
I mean, if you look at Star Citizen now, talk about money raised. They're up to a whopping $172 million in current funding, which is pretty insane. That's already makes people. There's been a recent development in Star Citizen, maybe worth mentioning, about the land. So maybe go over that first real quick, because it kind of ties into our discussion here about crowdfunding.
Sure. So recently, Star Citizen started selling land on various moons and planets in the during the founding period, the crowdfunding period. Now it's not specifically land you're buying. You're buying a tool, a surveyor tool, which allows you to claim land once the game actually comes out. So that's how they justified it by saying, well, we're not giving away, stuff that, we're not letting people pre-claim stuff in the game, right? But honestly, it kind of ends up meaning the same thing. If somebody starts day one with this assessor tool, and you start on day one naked, he's gonna get the land he wants before you have a chance at it. So it's the same thing in my mind as selling the best land. And it just seems so shady. Do they need more money or not? That's a question. And I feel like they don't want to admit that either way.
Yeah, at least they came out and said, "Look, listen, we need like X amount more money to get know where we want to be." That's fine. They don't talk about that too much. And again, $172 million is a lot of money. If you change that to a week, you'll see how much money they've raised in the last few weeks since the launch of the land program. They've been looks like $4.7 million they made last week, and before that, again about $3 million. And on a normal week with no promotions, that number falls down to $210,000. So they still clearly are pushing these monetization, like these schemes or these promotions to raise more money. And what's insane is if you look at our Star Citizen, the game's subreddit, I mean, the amount of people that seem so blindly loyal to this game seems insane. Look, I think if you take it to the extreme on either end, you're pretty out there. You're kind of wacky. There are people that hate this game irrationally. People like Derek Smart who have a massive boner talking shit about Star Citizen, and there are people that just massively believe and trust everything they hear about the game and just constantly tell their friends how great Star Citizen is. They defend every decision. Either way, I think you're a bit on the extreme. I mean, there's no reason to irrationally hate the game or just irrationally pump the game. But the number of people that defend every decision they make and how they defend the land move, like they have to do it. They need more. It's games cost a lot of money. It's reasonable. There's nothing unusual about this. They're not doing anything wrong. The release schedule is a-okay. They've never lied to it. They never misled us. They're being honest the whole time. The release schedules are fine. So it seems silly to excuse everything as well. But I mean, this already makes Star Citizen one of the most expensive games to be developed of all time. I mean, we keep a list on Wikipedia as a list for the most expensive games for developed. I think GTA is probably GTA 5 is the most expensive game ever developed.
Really?
At a few $100 million? I think so. Let me look right now. Yeah. Most expensive MMORPG ever developed is Star Wars: The Old Republic at about $200 million development cost. Yeah, this is already approaching the most expensive MMORPG ever.
It's important to note because I saw it mentioned in chat before. Someone quoted $400 million for Star Wars: The Old Republic. That $400 million number you quoted includes the marketing budget, which is I don't think it's fair to include in the development budget of the game itself. So Star Citizen is almost there as the top development cost game.
And I don't think Star Citizen is really spending that money on advertising. And if they are, maybe I've never seen Star Citizen ads. I don't know. I mean, obviously some of that money goes towards like conventions and stuff. But I mean, that's mostly money being spent on development.
Yep.
So they're already up there and some of the most expensive. And I think by the time this comes out, this number will be well over 200 million. I mean, I was astonished when this number broke 100 million, and now it's already closing in on 200 million, which is nuts. I mean, this year alone, they've raised a good chunk of change. In fact, this last month has been the best month of them all year for crowdfunding, for fundraising because of the land program. And it really, when I think of land for crowdfunding, it makes you think of Shroud the Avatar. But at least if you look at Shroud the Avatar, right, and the current state of Star Citizen, honestly, I played Shroud the Avatar. The game feels unfinished and looks unfinished, right? But at least their whole premise is there. The MMO components are there. There's something playable in the grand scheme of the persistent universe, right? You don't have all the I forgot what Star Citizen calls them, nodes or like modules. Not all the modules interacting with each other, as intended in Star Citizen. But at least that's working in Shroud the Avatar. And you can talk shit about Shroud the Avatar, but at least the game is fully playable today.
I'm just going through the store here on Star Citizen.
Again, there's a subscription for this game as well. You could have been subscribed to Star Citizen. You could be a monthly subscriber for Star Citizen. And the game is not even out yet. Okay. I mean, you can be a subscriber for over a year now.
There are two subscription options. You can get the $10 a month subscription or the $20 a month subscription. Isn't that exciting?
I still think like it's a remarkable theater what's happening in Star Citizen, though. I think because even if this game completely flops, it feels like a lot of people already got the value. Like the posting, there's so much activity on the Star Citizen subreddit. People are talking about like the clans they're going to make. If you go to the game's forums, people already have clans. There's already giant clans set up. They're already planning which like parts of the universe they're going to control and stuff. There's already like a meta game happening in the forums and the subreddit of like this game. There's already drama unfolding. Like in-game drama doesn't exist because the game is not fully out yet.
Entire guilds will rise and fall.
Yes,
it's purely in the forums before the game ever comes out,
which is remarkable. I mean, this is amazing that this can happen. This is so weird, and I do think in a way that the amount of funding this game has taken, if this one implodes, it's going to hurt the model a lot, though. Okay. And I do think a lot of people still crowdfunded MMORPGs and crowdfunding games in general. They don't know what they're getting into. This really takes like the model of a crowdfunding game. Probably it can be looked at as founders packs, because I know a lot of people hate founders packs for MMORPGs. I know Closers Online just did their Founders Pack sale recently too. And in order to play Closers on Steam, you got to buy a Founders Pack. It's a free-to-play game, but to play it, you got to spend money on a Founders Pack. I mean, the crowdfunding is the ultimate Founders Pack. Like everything you can buy right now on Star Citizen is just one massive Founders Pack, and it goes from like how much is the base game of Star Citizen anyway? Like to actually play,
$45, I believe.
$45, and it goes from $45 up to like tens of thousands of dollars to get all these crazy ships.
There are people. There are entire subreddits dedicated. So here's the thing: when you buy these various ships, guys, that I'm showing on screen right now, like $600, $200, whatever, you can actually trade these ships. And some of them are limited releases. Some of them are come back once in a while for like So there's already full subreddits where people trade and flip ships. And people have made money doing this. Like they end up with more ships in the end than they started with. Because like I'll trade you 2 Aegis Hammerhead LTI ships, which have 600 each, for one of these ships or whatever. And as you can see here in green text, some of these are in stock and some of them are out of stock. So there's this whole meta market already of people just flipping ships to each other in this game that doesn't exist.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be seen as the guy who hates Star Citizen. I hope the game happens. I've seen the videos Chris Roberts put out about the game, and the ambition is excellent. It's really cool, and I'm rooting for them. But it just seems so bizarre that they're doing this. Like, I don't think anyone else can get away with this, which is remarkable. If Area Games tried to just imagine Area Games or Nexon put like a $10,000 item in their Founders Pack. Our MMORPG would ship bricks, all right? So it'd be insane. There'd be a shitstorm of like pay to win nonsense. Like and this stuff seems more offensive to me than the EA controversy from the last couple of weeks. Like they're literally some of these ships cost thousands of dollars. Like what's the most expensive ship you can buy in the store right now? On this
right
page?
Now it's only $650, but I've definitely seen packages for above that in the past.
I know there was a Javelin ship that it went on sale for like a rare price. It was only $2,000. It was like a special sale for a Javelin in Star Citizen for $2,000, and they sold out instantly. They sold like 100 of those Javelins like in a refresh. So there are ships that cost thousands in this game, and people have already spent tens of thousands. It pales in comparison. Like,
$2,500 for the Javelin.
Yeah, so it was on sale for $2,000. They sold out really quick. It was a good deal,
Oh, it's a really good deal.
Yeah,
you guys better get on that next time.
There's a line for the store opens. We got a real Black Friday line.
I gotta say something. It's on my mind before I forget. Okay, so right now, currently, the most expensive ship is $650, right? I don't care if Star Citizen comes out, okay, and is the best game ever. You should not be spending this much money on it. Okay, like think of your current favorite game. Well, for me, it might be StarCraft. You know what I pay for StarCraft? I pay $50. Okay, maybe it's number 2 might be Ultima Online, which with the monthly subscription, I probably paid maybe $400, $300 in my life, right? Mm-hmm. And that's like a couple of years of being subscribed. How can, even if this is the greatest game ever, this price alone makes it, or charging pages of these expensive ships, this makes it a scam right here. Even if it's the best game ever, it's still a scam, just based on what I'm seeing right here on this page. What is this?
What's pretty funny is searching for the expensive ships. They had packages that go up to $15,000. Some guy asked on our Star Citizen, "Is the $15,000 package worth it?" So like people are talking about this, and there's a post here on a LinkedIn podcast. Meet a fan who has spent $30,000 on Star Citizen ships. Like you can see a picture of him with Chris Roberts, but I feel like at this point the man is owed a blowjob from Chris Roberts. That's my personal feeling, right? You spent $30,000 on a game, you better get at least a handy.
I bet
right? The man himself.
That suit Chris Roberts is wearing is probably so expensive. This poor schmuck is working like some menial job, and then he's just funneling his money to this con man on the right with this fancy Italian suit. Oh man.
But yeah, people are asking if you can get those ships in game. Yeah, I think you can. I think there will be a way to earn in-game currency to buy those ships too. But like most of the time in a lot of these games, the stuff you pay for you can unlock in game as well with in-game grinding and currency as well. I mean, people shat on Star Wars Battlefront 2 because you could pay your way to unlocking the content, or you can just grind forever and get it too. Does the same logic apply here? Why isn't there a shitstorm over Star Citizen? Why was there never a shitstorm over Star Citizen's business model versus Battlefront 2's business model? And arguably, you can spend a lot more money on Star Citizen than you can on Battlefront 2. Like, it seems insane that these guys got a free pass. Like again, I'm never going to spend money on Star Citizen. It's just not going to happen. But seeing people spend like thousands of dollars is pretty ridiculous. Like it's their money, obviously, and I think you said it in a previous podcast. some of these games, whether it's you said Idle Masters or Star Citizen, these games exist to separate fools and their money.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And if they do, like it's whatever, it doesn't cost me anything.
Guys, I think people who buy these ships are forgetting the perspective of money. Like, there are very few people in America, okay, where dropping $650 on a ship can be justified as a rational choice. I know we had this discussion before. Yes, there are a very, very few, less than 1% of people in America have the annual income to support this kind of habit, where they're regularly buying these massive macro transactions, okay? I'm going to stop calling them microtransactions, because I feel like the average guy who gets suckered into these wells of these games is not doing This is not a $650 is not a microtransaction. It's a macro transaction.
Actually, if you look at this post on CNN, there's this headline is worth perhaps showing on stream as well. I mean, there is something to be said when the transaction size gets that big. I mean, $600 is a lot of money. I mean, this article on CNN says 6 in 10 Americans don't have $500 in savings.
Yeah.
They can't. So the only way 60% of people can buy these items is through going in debt. So the fact that people are doing this, there's a lot of look. I made an argument before about defending people that spend this kind of money. I do want to emphasize my defense rests if people can afford it or not, right? And I think oftentimes people do spend money that they literally cannot afford to spend, and they are making foolish decisions. And this is not again a Star Citizen specific thing. I mean, games like Shroud of the Avatar have huge, $1,000 bundles as well. Crowfall, I think, has $1,000 bundles. A lot of these crowdfunding games have multi-$1,000 bundles you can spend on the games. So it's insane that people. I don't know. I think you had a great post earlier about somebody who spent a lot of money on a mobile game, or was it a PC game? Was it an article you linked me?
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That's worth sharing too, because it kind of fits in this discussion.
Yeah, okay, so this is a really cool article, guys, from the UK. I'll link it in chat as well. I'll just go over it a little. So this 19-year-old guy, he spent over $10,000 over the course of a year or two on mobile gaming. And this isn't a rich person. Like, the excuse we always hear is, if it's your money, so what? This guy is a student. He was, 19 now, but he was less than that before. He actually took a job while living with his parents just to fund his addiction. And eventually, he admits himself, he had to see a psychologist to get him to break his addiction. So this guy, and he even now, even to this day, when his friend group asks him to join them when they play BDO, he has to refuse because he says, I have to avoid games with, loot box mechanics or cash outs, because otherwise he'll relapse. So this is a serious thing, and it affects people around our age, our generation. And I don't think you can just dismiss this by saying, well, it's everyone has their own money, they can do whatever they want with it, because so many people will fall through the cracks under that world. Like, if someone becomes an opium addict or heroin addict, he needs outside help to get better. And I really feel for some subset of addictive people, they can fall into this pit where they need. Okay, let me find the money quote here, actually, guys. All right, so what do you think? What do you think of this article while I try to find this?
It's I still don't think it's a solution that you could regulate away. I do think if more stories like this come out, it will create outrage from the market itself, and companies will be forced to adapt to it. When people stop playing these kinds of games, I think it can be a self-correcting thing, personally. And actually, just to expand on this as well, I know at least one person on the MMOs.com Discord who has spent $10,000 on a free-to-play game.
Really?
I know one person in my guild in Final Fantasy 14 who has spent several $1,000s on a free-to-play PC MMORPG. So again, and these are people I know for a fact are not rolling in the dough. They don't have savings. They're just there's no money weighing them down. These are people that are working people, students that could definitely use that money. And not just that. I mean, Fate Grand Order launched a big update in the last week, I believe, where they released Jack the Ripper. It's a mobile game. I have almost all my friends are playing this game right now. And I know several people that spent a couple $100s. Again, it's not nearly as much, but people that don't have a couple $100s to blow necessarily. People that are students that are just trying to make ends meet. Just blowing like $500, $200, $300, $400 on this seems like it's people. It's crazy to look at it too, because again, back in the day, you bought a game for $50, right? And nowadays, people are spending $100 on just rolling gotchas on mobile games, or buying a $30 skin in League of Legends. I love League of Legends. Don't get me wrong, but what you can get for $30, think how many you can buy a full budget game when it goes on sale, or 2 skins in League is like 1 full game. A full game. Overwatch is only $40 when it came out too. Like you can buy Overwatch or you can buy a skin in League of Legends, and one will give you like $1,000 of entertainment. One will just change your character's hairstyle. It just seems insane that there's been a disconnect between value, rather what you get for what you're paying, with a lot of free-to-play games. But the problem, again, it doesn't lie with the company. It's just people's perception of value has changed so drastically, or something's... I don't know.
Okay, here's the solution, Amor. Okay? Here's the solution, guys. First of all, I'm not talking about government regulation, okay? I know you've said that before. People in chat are saying that. I'm talking about community. Me, as a human, as a social circle, as a person in the community. Social shaming is so important. And it's a good thing. Bullying is a good thing, I think, overall. Like, it's grade school. And here's why. I'm going to quote you this guy who is a self-admitted addict, okay, of these loot boxes. Quote, "It never feels like you're making a good decision when you spend that $100, he said. But at the same time, I was like, what else am I going to do with spend it on? There weren't really any repercussions to enforce, like, you idiot, stop. Yo, idiot, stop. If this guy had friends around him, like me, people like me, who are willing to say to him, hey, you moron, you spend $100 on fake Grand Order Mobile Anime Edition, you're an idiot. That's social pressure of me. Oh shit, I don't want to be an idiot, So I'll stop spending this money. This guy needed that in his life. He needed somebody. He needed friends, family, peers to tell him, hey, you retard, stop stop working 8 hours a day just so you can buy nothing on your phone. Like, if someone had said that to him, he would have had that $10,000 in his bank account today. All right, that's my rant.
Actually, somebody just linked a Gyaza picture of League of Angels, and it looks like he spent quite a bit of money on this game. 2,000. Click that picture real quick. 2,000 diamonds is $50, and it looks like this guy's 370,000 diamonds into VIP level 13. Holy moly! Is that your account, by the way? Must Rush B? I'm curious, how much have you spent on the game overall? But in a way, I agree with what you're saying, but I don't think I can't stand behind the idea that bullying equals good. The way you present that argument was bullying equals good.
Would you consider what I said bullying then? Like, if I call someone an idiot, retard for spending that money? Obviously, just going up to a kid and pushing him around is not for no reason. It's not good.
Look, I think if you bully, and if you're rude as fuck in a way that can benefit them, it's a net positive.
Yeah.
Because if you do it to somebody that can afford that spending that kind of money, you're being an asshole. But I do agree with you in a way. If you say, yo, idiot, the fuck are you doing? And if they're actually like having trouble paying their rent, they're really behind on their maybe
or
other
they're
payments.
18-year-olds and they have no college degree and they have no and they're taking a job just to pay for this. You gotta call them an idiot.
No, but 18-year-olds. Oh, thank you. Appreciate the Twitch subs, the subscription there, Zero Escape. But look, you can appreciate like 18-year-olds, 16-year-olds, high schoolers. They spend money, right? Because their parents give them money for allowance and stuff. There's nothing wrong with spending your Christmas money or your allowance on what gives you fun, right? So I don't think when you're dealing with 18-year-olds, it's
Hold up. He himself said he actually doesn't enjoy spending the money. He's kind of stuck in a cycle, and you'll often see this in gamblers, whether it's lottery tickets or people at the casino. At some point, they stop having fun, and it's kind of like they're nervous while they're playing because like they're trying to get back what they put in. Like, I don't think they're getting the satisfaction that you think they're getting.
But you don't know that either. Again, I think if you spend if an 18-year-old spends like $100 on a mobile game, I don't think that's a problem. But when you see someone. No, but when you see somebody spending thousands, when that number breaches $500, $1,000, I think as a friend, you do have a responsibility to intervene in such a way. Maybe to say like, "Yo, idiot, the fuck are you doing?" is the wrong way of approaching it.
Really?
But I think it's not so wrong. I mean, whatever ends up working, honestly, because sometimes you do need something called tough love. And sometimes just casually mentioning it doesn't actually fix the problem. Stick figure hero. Appreciate the Twitch sub over there. So yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say I agree with you. I'm gonna say calling someone an idiot for spending money that they can't afford, I think is a good thing, and that applies to both video games and I think in real life. If you're a friend that's going to the casino and like bringing his credit card and doing a cash advance and going into debt to gamble, you should call him an idiot and whatever you can do to prevent him from doing that. Ultimately, I think you're being a net positive impact on your friendship. So exactly. I guess that logic should apply to this as well.
Yeah, and I did mention like friends and family. It's up to us to take care of the people around us and vice versa. And part of that is calling out these bad decisions.
Isn't one of the reasons Japan isn't as nearly as overweight as much of the West is because there's a social pressure in society. for being fat. If you're
Yeah.
fat, you will get shamed in public even.
In a lot of countries that do better on the whole obesity thing than us, it's not because the government is like banning like fat food, you know. It's because there's less tolerance in the community for people that just are just fat. Like imagine like if somebody was fat, right? It would reflect bad on their family, their parents, their their on themselves too, on their future prospects to get a job. So they just stay thin. That's it. That's all it takes. In America, I wish we had more of that. Doesn't mean you go and punch the fat kid in your class, but it does mean you should be more active in the life of people around you, your friends and family.
Yeah, again, so I think if we can fix this problem without getting government involved and other, like it can be, I think it can be fixed socially. And I do think, we all know somebody that spends too much money on video games. So perhaps we can walk away with a lesson here. Maybe talk to your friend who overspends money on mobile games or overspends money on a game for their financial well-being.
Yeah, ask them to go on a hike with you on a weekend. Like an 8-hour hike in the woods. Maybe then they'll enjoy a free hobby rather than blowing all that money.
So we do have someone in our chat that self-admitted has spent about $10,000 on League of Angels.
Over
must rush be. Out of curiosity, what period of time is that in? Because he linked me his account. I can see the total amount of diamonds in those games. And what's insane about those games is simply it's 9,250 British pounds actually. He linked his account over there. And obviously, and it's amazing because the way these games work though is it's so much more like if you look at Eastern versus Western like monetization, like companies like EA haven't even scratched the surface on how much they can monetize yet. Because if you look at a game like League of Angels, the amount of money you have to spend to get stronger increases exponentially. So if you look at the screenshot you linked over there, where you can see the VIP levels, he has to spend another 129,000 diamonds to reach VIP level 14. He's only VIP level 13 right now. But remember, the cost of those diamonds are through the roof. You divide the number by I forgot what the calculation was there, but he spent over $10,000 on that so far, which is absolutely insane. It's over 1.5 years. I hope you have a good income there. Must rush speed to be able to pay for that. But I mean, do you feel it's an addiction for you? Do you feel it's something that are you enjoying spending the money, or is it just like where are you on your mental state? Because then we've talked to Shirley about this as well.
That's so important because, like I said, I was reading this article, and this guy he admits that even when he's spending the money, he's not feeling good. So that's a key point of addiction. Like that's when things aren't good, when you don't really feel good about what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, if the amount of money you can spend on these games goes from $10,000 to hundreds of thousands of dollars, whether on a lot of these Chinese browser games and a lot of Chinese client games as well. And even if you look at the like Battlefront 2, the most money you can spend on that game is probably like a few $1,000s. Literally, if you just unlock everything for cash, it won't cost you more than a few $1,000s. Again, that's a shit ton of money, and it's still obviously greedy and bullshit. No, I'm with you on that, but it doesn't even come close to what you can spend on other games. If imagine unlocking every card in Hearthstone, how much US dollars would it take to unlock everything in Hearthstone?
There's an article there was an article about this. Yeah.
Really? On the Hearthstone thing?
Yeah, but it was probably dated now because these things change all the time. I'll try to find it while you go.
All right, so and that applies to Overwatch as well. I had a conversation with some friends about Overwatch before about the way they're handling monetization. I do genuinely think Blizzard isn't monetizing as well as they could, and without even going pay to win. I think Overwatch can add a whole new tier of skins. Instead of legendary skin, which is like I think 8% drop rate, they can do a secret legendary skin, which is a 1% drop rate, and then add ultra legendary skins, which are 0.1% drop rate. People that really want those skins would spend thousands and $5,000-$10,000 unlocking those super rare skins, and it wouldn't impact the game at all. Like if you're a free user, let's be real, there's no pay to win in the game anyway. You're just paying for skin. There's just skins. Adding ultra rare skins doesn't really impact my experience as a free to play user. And I think most people might be like a little offended when they see like, oh my god, there's a 0.1% chance drop rate skin. Blizzard is so fucking greedy. But I think they'll keep playing. There's if they start selling weapons that can imbalance the game, people might quit. But if we're talking about stuff that are cosmetic, I think they can make a lot more money monetizing that way. Because if you look at how much money you can spend in Overwatch to unlock every single skin in the game won't cost you more than $5,000. And that's a shit ton of money. But a bullshit game like League of Angels, a Chinese browser game, which has 1/1,000,000th of the production value as a good game like Overwatch, or a good game like League of Legends, unlocking every skin in League of Legends even, you can only spend so much money. The money hole goes into hundreds of thousands of dollars in games like Game of War, Clash of Clans, these browser games. This guy spent I think $2 million on Game of War. $2 million. You could not spend that, even 1/10 of that money, 1/100th of that money if you tried to in Hearthstone or Overwatch. And That's what's the difference between Eastern and Western monetization is they're not designed to literally milk every penny they can. But I feel like they can get away with it on the cosmetic side.
Yeah, and to answer the question, if you want full gold and non-gold collection of cards in Hearthstone, up to next Rammus, it's about $6,000.
And full gold?
Yeah.
That tells me how generous Blizzard is. People always say like, it's fucking expensive, right? It is. But $6,000 is a lot of fucking money, obviously.
But
in relation to these other games, that's for gold. Yeah. Unlocking the gold-backed cards is nonsense. Getting a gold legendary, it adds nothing to the game. It's the same exact card as a regular legendary, but you got a cooler animation. It's got the gold border. So you cut that number in half, or maybe even more than half. More than half. Because more than half. To unlock every card in Hearthstone is going to cost you a couple $1,000s maximum. Probably way less than that, actually.
Yeah.
So it's
less than 1K, I'd say.
Less than 1K. So these Chinese games are getting away with like so much more. And my brother was talking last week. A lot of these Western companies are looking at the Chinese model, the Korean model, like, what the hell are we doing? Like, they're getting away with murder. The fuck are we doing? Like, why are we monetizing better? So I think the trend will go towards more pay to win, unfortunately, and more monetization.
I think so too. I think we've actually watched this video on the podcast like a year ago, but I do want to watch it again. It's that honest Kickstarter video. All right, so let's watch it. It's like a 2 minutes long, guys. I think it's worth it. So come watch with us. Here we go.
Hi. You have no idea who we
mashed
are.
potato.
All right, we'll wait for the pouring to ride off into the wilderness until we. Okay, here we go.
Why bother introducing ourselves? We're not important.
We're here to talk to you about our bullshit product.
We think our bullshit product is so great that we can just ask for money.
Our idea is total bullshit.
When we first got the dumbass idea for our bullshit product, we're like, but we don't have any money.
But thanks to Kickstarter, now we can take other people's hard-earned money
away from their families.
You have no reason to trust us, but I'm providing an emotional appeal. Listen to how passionately I'm talking about our bullshit product.
I love our bullshit product.
This is so perfect.
Let's meet the rest of the team.
We actually have no idea what we're talking about, but we don't want you to know that. So we're going to throw a bunch of buzzwords at you, like vertical integration, social media outreach, community insight, vertical integration.
I'm really ugly. Based on my bizarre and distracting appearance, I shouldn't be in this video.
Vertical integration, there's vertical integration.
We know what you're thinking. This product is bullshit.
That's why we came up with this list of completely worthless rewards.
The reward for donating $1 is knowing that you've donated $1.
Next step up, $500. We'll give you a special thanks. And you'll know you donated $1 500 times.
After that, if you donate $10,000, you're obviously one of our parents.
And finally, $100,000 is way too much to ask of anyone. Our expectations are too high.
You will never get our rewards, but you will get 1,000 goddamn emails.
We want to assure you that we are not at all responsible for the money.
I'm ugly as hell. Why am I back on screen?
Thank you so much for encouraging this behavior. For whatever reason, I think I'm special.
Our idea is so dumbass that we should be ashamed. Please, for the love of God, donate to our bullshit product.
Vertical integration. That doesn't even sound like a word anymore.
All right, there you go.
This is so unbelievably accurate. It is insane, actually. It's quite literally captures the feeling of most Kickstarter products that are like highly ambitious. Look, I don't want to shut on all crowdfunding because as a format for like developing board games and things that are a bit simpler, it actually works really well. A lot of cool board games came out of Kickstarter, but it's just insane to see people that are trying to tackle these insanely complex projects like MMORPGs on Kickstarter. And it really comes out to them not knowing shit and like just pitching some bullshit, and nobody knows what they're doing, but they have an idea and that's all they have. Yep. And they think that's enough to make a game.
There was actually a big Kickstarter that raised lots of money for a water bottle that fills itself. Okay, and it was supposed to like get it from the air, right? And they raised so much. They raised hundreds of thousands of dollars. They got funding from like the Austrian government, and then they just admitted it was all bullshit. They had no idea what they were doing. They had no engineering background. It was like an art school grad kid, and then it just all blew up.
I think they ended up making a like a humidifier from air conditioners.
Yeah.
It was literally just like an expensive air conditioner humidifier that was like bulky and like twice the price that you can buy an air conditioner at. Because they had that same process, and I think Thunderfoot made a great video.
Yep.
Honestly, I think Thunderfoot makes a lot of great videos on debunking a lot of extreme bullshit Kickstarter videos. You may disagree with some of Thunderfoot's other ideas. He went on the whole like feminism thing too for a while, which is a bit silly, I think. But he's got a lot of great videos debunking the science behind a lot of bullshit Kickstarter projects. I feel like we need a game Kickstarter debunker.
You were supposed to
debunk them.
Remember, you started a column like 6 months ago. You're supposed to be the bullshit Kickstarter of the week.
Yeah, we should.
We got to bring that back.
We got to bring it back, but there aren't that many. Yeah.
Don't limit it to MMORPGs. Just do any Kickstarter.
Yeah, you're right. If we do any like kind of game, I feel like it could make a lot more sense.
Anything tangentially related to technology or gaming. Okay. All right.
Yeah, but I think that Kickstarter video is perfect. It really captures so much of at least what I feel towards what most Kickstarters end up doing. Insane.
All right. Woo. Good talk, guys. Good talk. All right, want to get to some interesting news of the week? I'd love to start with the one I just wrote.
Yeah, how about it? I thought that was probably the most interesting. That's my favorite. That's my favorite read of the week.
All right, boys. So here's a hilarious article I woke up to this morning. Actually, it's not hilarious. I apologize. It's actually really sad.
Really sad.
It's actually really sad story. Okay, so here we go. Desperate Venezuelans turn to MMORPGs to survive. As you may or may not know, guys, there's a huge economic crisis in Venezuela. It's been going on for at least 2 years now. And we did first report about this back in August. So in August 1st, I wrote that World of Warcraft gold was worth more than the Venezuelan bolivar. So one piece of gold in World of Warcraft was worth more than one bolivar. And this was back in August when it cost 8,385 bolivar to buy $1. Now fast forward to now, December, and it's gotten way worse in Venezuela. We got, as you can see by this banner picture I chose, there's just fires in the middle of the street in Venezuela. It cost 108,000 bolivars to buy $1. And this has basically made everyone's local income worthless. So if you're like a doctor or a lawyer in Venezuela, you basically get paid nothing, zero, like 1 cent an hour, right? So what do people do in Venezuela? Well, former engineers, professionals, they quit their jobs or they don't show up to work. And instead, they're grinding in Tibia and RuneScape. They're gold farming in Tibia and RuneScape and selling that to people in Europe and America. And with that money, they're feeding their entire family. Their kids are going to school. It's just a baffling story, Omar. What do you think of this?
I think it's insane. I read this morning too, and I thought it was the most interesting article I've read all week. And the reason behind it is, if you live in Venezuela, it's illegal to have U.S. dollars. Your currency is all bolivars, and the bolivar every day gets shittier and shittier, and you lose your purchasing power. So when you sell gold on these games to like this gold selling websites, you get paid in U.S. dollars, and you become rich. Because the U.S. dollar it's so much more than your monthly wage. So there's actually some really striking quotes in this article. Maybe click into that Bloomberg article too, because in the Bloomberg article itself, you'll see some pictures of these people playing Tibia and these really old ass CRT monitors, and they just sit there grinding. My favorite quote is, there's one guy in Venezuela talking about RuneScape, and he says a 27-year-old former engineer who is now farming RuneScape gold to provide for his family has been banned repeatedly by Jagex. Each ban sets him back weeks as he has to grind a new character capable of efficiently farming gold. And he quotes saying, "Shouldn't they be proud that entire families are being fed by their game?" He says to Bloomberg, "Shouldn't they be proud of entire families being fed by their game?" So this shows you like a different dynamic of how we look at gold farmers. We most of us here in the West that play games like RuneScape just get really pissed off when we see people RMTing. It really hurts our experience, and we feel like it's some complete bullshit that they're kind of cheating. But if you look at the other end of the spectrum, like literally gold farming in RuneScape is feeding families. It's saving lives in a way in Venezuela. And the reaction from people, it gets so insane. Like in the actual Bloomberg article, it also says that Venezuelan gold farmers' biggest enemy may prove not to be xenophobic gamers, but themselves. That's because so many players flock to online worlds to make a living, blah, blah, blah. Here's a quote. "But the anger at the influx of farmers in games such as RuneScape is such that one user on Reddit posted a guide on killing Venezuelans." there's a guy that finding Venezuelans in the game and killing them.
Yeah.
Offering tips to kill their characters in game. So like the actual RuneScape community hates these people, but these people are just like literally fighting for scraps to feed their family.
It's so
and they're
weird.
farming in RuneScape. It's a really bizarre tale of how, you know, shitty economy and people resort to playing RuneScape and Tibia. And what's remarkable is it's Tibia and RuneScape.
Well,
and the reason is these. Yeah, go ahead.
No, the reason they're playing these games, guys, Tibia and RuneScape, is because I just learned this today. Venezuela has worse internet than most of Africa, and even Syria, which is in a civil war right now. It's, you know, killing hundreds of thousands of people. Venezuela has worse internet than that. So these guys are stuck playing these god-awful games, or old games, I should say, not awful, because their internet connection can't handle anything better.
Yeah, I was thinking they should run a casino in Final Fantasy 14, but then you look at that picture, the guy's playing on this old ass CRT, and it would take him literally like a year to download Final Fantasy 14. That's why they're playing Tibia and RuneScape. These games, you know, are tiny. They can run in the browser or a tiny micro client, and it just, I thought this was the most baffling and interesting read is all week. I mean, I recommend you guys just skim through the Bloomberg article too if you guys are interested.
Yeah, and it's so funny that, imagine, guys, that when you're walking around an MMORPG and you decide to PK somebody, right, like a farmer, like in BDO or something, you could literally be causing the starvation of that guy's family in Venezuela. like
some real IRL distress for his family.
You kill that guy in game, you just killed his family IRL. Like, that's how bad it is.
Quote. The riveting Bloomberg article details some of the hardships the South African country is facing and the lengths men are willing to go in order to provide food for their families. One woman recalls fighting with her husband over his obsession with Tibia and how the recent crisis has changed her perspective on the game. She said, we'd get into ugly fights and he would tell me, I'll leave you before I give up Tibia, she recalls. But I can't argue with that thinking with what he's making. So before she'd be pissed off that he would say that, but now she's like, you know what? He's right. He should not leave Tibia. And that is a money quote right there.
Yeah.
That is some respect as well. He would leave his wife before he would leave Tibia. And he says that to her face. Even before this crisis happened, he would just tell her to her face.
Yeah.
That is some respect. All right. Some respect, all right? The man that man is not whipped like some men are in relationships, all right? It's we're laughing about, but it's a serious matter. Obviously, it's a very unfortunate situation being in Venezuela. Obviously, you know, living in these situations, but respect to that guy.
I'll play this video about Tibia so you guys know what this game is while I keep talking here. What I found really interesting, guys, the guy Omar quoted, and the 27-year-old farming in RuneScape, he's not like some guy with no other like options, like education wise. This guy used to be an engineer, a petroleum engineer. And because of the current state of the economy, even he is forced to grind like all day, 12 hours a day in RuneScape to feed his family. That's how bad it is in Venezuela. That is amazing to me to just wrap
insane.
my mind around that.
A petroleum engineer in like Texas can make like $100,000 a year.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a pretty in-demand job, you know, in the oil industry with the way fracking is taken off in America. You know, this is a skilled position, all right? You know, and he probably has worked in the oil industry before.
Yeah.
But it just the situation is such shit that he went from probably making good money, good wages, to now he's playing this game all day to feed his family.
A quick political plug here, guys. Socialism, not even once. I know a lot of young guys out there are attracted to socialism, but you know what? If you vote Bernie, okay, if you vote Bernie, okay, you're gonna be stuck in the gulags mining RuneScape and Tibia for 12 hours a day to feed your family 2 potatoes, okay? That's going to be your future if you vote for Bernie Sanders, all right? So something to think about before you vote next time.
Clearly, they just did socialism wrong, all right? We got to try a different angle.
Yeah, we failed like 12 times, but the next guy's got it.
Yeah, there you go. You're going to piss off a lot of Bernie Sanders fans now. Way to go.
Dude. Someone asked, how did it get so bad in Venezuela? Basically, they went full socialist. Then the oil prices went down, and they realized, oh shit, we can't just sell to capitalist Americans anymore. We got no money, and they all went broke.
I think the key problem is the oil price went down. There's a lot of countries that rely on commodity prices to basically support their economy and their governments. And oil price went down was $120 a barrel. Now it's down to like $55, $60 a barrel. So when that shit gets cut in half, there goes all the money for the government.
Cool story, bro. All right. That was my favorite story of the week.
I thought that was the most interesting story of the week myself too. But I mean, in some slightly bizarre news, we have yet another game embracing the battle royale genre. You'll never guess which game it is.
Well, somebody in chat might guess, right?
Yeah, you're right. Somebody in chat might get it.
All right.
League of Angels is adding a battle royale game mode. I don't even understand how. It makes no sense because League of Angels is an auto-playing Chinese MMORPG. The game plays itself in a lot of parts, but they're adding their own battle royale game mode. 20 players are going to fight off in the Isle of Doom. But what's weird is you have the same elements of like the island getting smaller, right? That you'd see in like PUBG, but you actually respawn.
What?
So I feel like the Chinese don't quite understand what battle royale means. You know, maybe something got lost in translation over there. And you're supposed to kill other people too.
How do you lose? You're supposed to kill.
Well, the game only lasts 10 minutes, okay?
Oh, okay.
And in on the 9th minute, there's no more respawns.
What?
So what that tells me is that basically you can just sit there with your dick in hand for 9 minutes, and then on the last minute, then you start playing. You know?
Oh, okay. I don't know. I mean, you know what? Maybe it works because every time you die, you got to restart with your gear. So in the 9th minute, the guys are better. I don't know. I don't know how it's supposed to work. It's kind of random. They're obviously just jumping on the train.
They're doing obviously down hype train as well, but it's more of a PvE kind of thing. So like there's bosses that spawn on the island, you want to kill them as well to get loot. You kill the players for experience and loot as well, but like so it's PvP and PvE. It's just bizarre to see so many games embracing battle royale as much as they did. But I think no other game really captures the battle royale craze than obviously PUBG. But beyond PUBG, there's a mobile game that just came out which is insanely popular. I was mind blown with how popular this game is. Maybe we can show it off here in the stream. But this game called Rules of Survival. And honestly, like real talk, like when I do mobile games, I'm never like hyped for these games. They're usually pretty shit, right? And like I realize most of the people watching on MMOs.com don't give a shit about mobile games either. So when I do mobile game videos, it's usually for the more interesting games, the slightly more the better games I can find. And they're still usually shit. So when I did Rules of Survival, I was like, okay, here's another mobile duker. I'm only doing it because it's on the top list of most played games right now. And then I'm playing it, and it's actually half decent. All right, you heard it here first, boys. I put on the Rules of Survival advertising banners all over the internet. Half decent. Omer at MMOs.com. All right, that goes right up there. So as you can clearly see in the video, this is such a PUBG clone. I mean, they literally took PUBG and they put it on mobile, and even like the lobby of the game is identical. Even when you first jump into the game, you're on the island, that newbie island with this gun to shoot each other. That's basically the same shit. 120 players, they battle it out, and it actually works somewhat decently.
You know what's amazing to me? They actually have more players than PUBG because it's 120, not 100. That's pretty impressive.
Young Flight, does it have controller support? I think so. Yeah, you can play with the controller on mobile, I believe. This video, I recorded it using an emulator, so I was playing with mouse and keyboard, which is freaking hilarious. Okay, so maybe if you skip out for the game to actually begin when I land, you'll see me killing some people. But like, because I'm playing with mouse and keyboard, I have like this huge advantage over people playing on their touchscreen. So like, imagine some kid playing on his like 3-inch iPhone SE, right? And he's trying to like aim and shit, right? And did I already get 2 kills over here?
Yeah,
I think I already got 2 kills.
You have 3 kills already.
I have 3 kills. If you go back and watch me kill those guys, because it's hilarious how bad people are at aiming. Because again, they're playing with their 4-inch touchscreens, and I'm playing with a mouse and keyboard on the emulator. So like they're trying to aim at me with their mouse, right? They're just slowly trying to aim at me. Like I'll see people walk past me and just completely ignore me, like because they didn't see me. Like he walked right in front of me. I'm like, are you serious? How is he not shooting me? It's like it's bizarre. I've had games where I get like 12 kills, 13 kills in a single game because I'm playing against kids that are playing on touchscreens.
This guy just ran up to you with his fist.
Them. Yeah, one guy tried to Mike Tyson me.
Oh my god!
But the controls are so wonky for a touchscreen that it's such an advantage for playing on mouse and keyboard that it's just really funny. So if you enjoy battle royale games, give it a try, honestly, because the game itself isn't terrible either. I mean, it's just obviously really hard to play on a touchscreen, but there's aim assist as well. So if you ever play any mobile games with aim assist, so if you start shooting, like it'll slowly start correcting your aim automatically. So you have that going for it as well. But if you want to stomp some kids, you want to go on like a 10-0 kill spree, download this game on the emulator and play it there, and bind your controls to the mouse and keyboard, aim with the mouse, and you'll destroy people. It's just remarkable. I've had so many games where people just walk right past me and they will kill me. I'll walk into a house. There's a guy like facing the wall. He'll like slowly start turning around and shit. Like he's done so. Boom, headshot. He's dead. So it feels good to stomp them. But the game itself isn't like, if you look at the game, right? Like, does this look like PUBG? At least it's like the full PUBG experience on mobile.
It's like low quality graphic settings PUBG.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. And who would have guessed that like You could literally just copy and paste PUBG on mobile and it worked. Like I thought at first it wouldn't work because I thought PUBG was a more complex game. There's too much UI elements, but no, they literally copied and pasted PUBG on mobile, and it's so popular. You find that instant 120-person game in literally a second. I've never had to wait more than 3 seconds to find a match. The game is insanely popular here in the West right now, and it's actually quite shameful how much they copied PUBG. The way the bandages work are the same as PUBG. There's energy drinks as well. Instead of blue, they're red though. And there's level 1, 2, and 3 helmets, level 1, 2, and 3 body armor, and level 1, 2, and 3 backpacks. They copied every single element of PUBG, including all the attachments, the 4x, the 8x, the grips. Like, there's not one iota of like unique gameplay or one iota of like original thought. So it's kind of like shameful how much they copied it, and it's it's a big company. NetEase is like the second biggest game developer in China, but like, how did they not even add any bit of originality? Is surprising. Like, I don't know. You see like copy like we're so used to WoW clones in America, but they're not actual clones the way this game is a clone of PUBG. So the Chinese really take it to the next level in terms of cloning games. But hey, I mean, it works for them. I mean, I'm sure PUBG's pissed off, but this game's making mega money.
Well, you know what's funny about someone in chat just mentioned. So is actual PUBG coming to mobile, or is this it? Actually, Tencent has partnered now with PUBG officially, and they're making 2 different official PUBG games in China. So I'm gonna play a video for both. I don't know what the difference is supposed to be between the 2, but we are getting not 1 but 2 official PUBG mobile games by Tencent.
Mm-hmm. And as an example, to answer why do people keep saying PUBG did anything new or first, though? PUBG is 100% clone of other clones. I mean, that's not fair either, because the guy who made PUBG, Brendan Green, he's the guy who made the original Battle Royale mod for Arma. He's like the, one of the fathers of the genre on PC, And yeah, and he also worked on H1Z1. So it's not really cloning if he makes it. He's still one of the original guys that made it. So I don't think it's fair to say. I think he should get credited with, making
it's still
one
cloning.
of the first.
It's not copying, but it's cloning.
Sure, but he's cloning himself.
Yeah, exactly. He's like a supervillain, right? He's cloning himself.
Yeah. I don't know. Must rush, but they can mention PUBG. I think it's fine. And the way that these copyright laws work is you as long as you're not literally copying like character names, hero names, and stuff, you're allowed to basically copy gameplay elements because like gameplay elements aren't protected by copyright. So that's why a lot of these games are so similar. This video looks kind of hype, but this is a CGI trailer, though, so it's bullshit. So yeah, we're going to see PUBG on mobile in China. Honestly, it'll probably come to America as well because of how big PUBG is. I mean, PUBG is a game I think that really expanded the PC gaming market a lot. You're in Vancouver right now. You said you're meeting a lot of people that built PCs for the first time just to play PUBG.
Yep.
PUBG is doing amazing things
for the game. I know 2 people who built $1,000 computers, and they have 2 icons on their desktop. They have Chrome, and they have Steam. And when they launch Steam, they have 1 game on Steam. And that's PUBG. Isn't that crazy?
It's nuts. I mean, people are PUBG only, but PUBG is insane. How popular this game is right now. I feel like I was early on the bandwagon. I haven't played it too much recently, but I've got at least 100 hours in there, probably way more.
I mean, we're gonna do a game of the year, MMOs.com game of the year, with various categories. But spoiler, guys, PUBG is gonna feature there quite prominently.
Here's the thing about Game of the Year awards, too, which I have a lot of disagreements with over people. Again, this goes back to my weird definition of what makes a good game. Because everyone obviously has their own Game of the Year criteria and stuff. But in my mind, the game that can provide entertainment to the most people is the best game. And we walked over my weird definition before. But I mean, a game like PUBG it's expanded the genre so much. It's captured the minds of so many casuals as well that didn't even play PC games. And the game is so insanely popular with over 2 million concurrent players. This game has been such an impact on PC gaming, like more so than like anything else. That it just seems like crazy that people are like, oh, PUBG can't be Game of the Year. It's not beautiful, but look at like Horizon New Dawn. This is like such a masterpiece. But like, yeah, sure, it's a masterpiece, but look how many more people are playing PUBG. Look how many more people are experiencing this.
I think, look, you have a good criteria, okay, player base, right? Right?
Yeah.
That's a good criteria. But I think Game of the Year does need to encompass other criteria. But even on that front, I think PUBG comes out ahead. So, for example, I would also emphasize impact on the industry. Okay? Mm-hmm. On which case, I think PUBG is a clear winner. It has a huge impact on the industry. So many games are copying it. So many other games are adding a Battle Royale feature now after this. It's clear. I bet you, as we're speaking, there are dozens of unannounced Battle Royale games in development, right, by different studios. So this is a huge impact on the gaming industry. It's popular. It's sold a lot. So it's got the revenue, the player base, the impact on the industry. So you got to factor all those things. And even when you do that, I think PUBG comes out ahead.
Is the video you're showing in the background PUBG Mobile?
Yes, it is.
That looked phenomenal. Holy shit,
play
there's
it
an
again.
actual gameplay there.
Yeah,
and that looked hype.
This looks really
That looks
good.
way better than Rules of Survival. But I'm gonna download Rules of Survival on my phone to see if it looks any better, because I'm sure on the emulator it doesn't run nearly as well. But this looks like this game. The only game that's gonna beat PUBG is gonna be PUBG Mobile, if anything. All right, because mobile is again ginormous. This game looks pretty hype. He's actually showing some actual gameplay in this video. People say near should be game of the year as well. Again, look, I personally think game of the year shouldn't be super subjective. You should try to think of some objective metrics and then apply all games to that metric and see what comes out ahead. Because if you just go with like what one person likes or what person judges to be the best game on like what his subjective view of fun, of artistic value, like that's all nonsense in my opinion. You got to go with objective, quantifiable things, and things like impact on industry can be quantified. Things like player base can be quantified. You know, other things like fun cannot be quantified because, you know, who knows how much fun, you know, or how much, you know, you think a game is fun or how beautiful you think a game looks.
Yeah.
Game of the year, Gary's Mod.
I agree with that. And okay, so if you think Nier Automata, which by the way I've heard was a great game.
Automata, yeah.
So what criteria, what objective criteria would you use to say, you know, that's game of the year? And if that still checks your marks, then okay, that's a valid opinion.
I feel like that game got quite popular off 2B's booty. All right.
That might be the next game I play after I beat Cuphead. Now I need a new like single player game to stream and play.
Wuniak, so you're gonna be voting World of Warcraft every year again? Wuniak, well, first of all, Game of the Year is for the year. Okay, so a game released 2004 does not qualify as 2017 Game of the Year. And secondly, World of Warcraft is not the most successful or most popular MMORPG in the world. That title goes to good old Dungeon Fighter Online. So boom. So I don't think World of Warcraft would win every year. It's Z. They do bleed green because of some censorship requirements in China. People are asking, why are they bleeding green? There's no one else seeing this?
Oh yeah, that's a good factor. So in China, they have different factors on what if you have skeletons in your game or like red blood or violence, you can't actually release your game in China. So you have to censor it by adding like armor to the skeletons and make the blood green.
All right, I want to pivot a little bit from Game of the Year to an actual MMORPG and kind of bring us to a broad discussion of some interesting MMORPG features. So, Revelation Online launched their Shadowblade update this last week. It adds a new assassin class, which is obviously a new class to the game, which is always, you know, anytime a game adds a new class, it's kind of hype. But what I find more interesting is the game's new class change system. And again, this is more of a discussion about the concept itself than rather Revelation, because I think it's actually a pretty neat idea. So the way it works in Revelation is once every 45 days, you can literally just change your class.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I heard about this. I don't like it. I do not like it.
Why?
Okay. Because then you lose all meaning to... Okay, you lose all... Okay, when I play a game, an MMORPG, I want to be my character, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm investing in that character, the story of that character, the weaknesses, the strength of that character. And if I can just switch... I'm actually against gender change and race change, too, for the same reason. Because I feel... Then you kind of lose... Just make a new character if you want like a female blood elf or whatever. But if you can just change what you are by paying money, then... It's
not paying money, it's free.
Well, whatever. If you can just change... Okay, forget the paying money part. If you can just change what you are, like, then I feel like you lose the... Then it doesn't feel real to you. You know, it's like, oh, do I make my background blue or green? But I feel like the connection to your character should be beyond that. It should be more intimate than just choosing a color for your background.
But it seems more to me that this option is going to be taken up by people that are bored of the game already. You know, like let's say you're playing Revelation and you've already got like you've played your class for a while. You're bored as fuck. You know, like the choice is basically now: do I quit or play something else? But if you have an option to switch classes, I feel like that just seems like it gives players a reason to stay. And why can't your character learn a new skill? Like, why is your swordsman? Why can't you study magic and become a magician and your swordsman too?
You can, but not instantly.
Well, you gotta do a quest maybe to level up. You know, maybe like
I'm all for the Final Fantasy feature where you can like have multiple classes. You know, like with one character.
Yeah, they start level 1 though.
Okay, even I'm not. There should be some shared skills. Like some shared progression, right? Even I'm okay with that. But okay, but just willy nilly, you're level 60 wizard, and then tomorrow you click your weekly reroll and you become a level 60 warrior. No,
once every 45 days. Once every 45 days.
That makes no sense. That totally breaks immersion. That breaks the investment in your character.
You say breaking immersion. I feel like that concept of breaking immersion has been long gone in MMORPGs. I don't think people are immersed in MMORPGs in their character the way you think they are.
Well, if they aren't, then the current state of the genre is partly because of that.
Look, I love my character Final Fantasy 14. Like, again, I think they look mega cute. I love the emote. I love my character, right? And I know a lot of people that do love their characters as well. Yeah. But I don't think stuff like, level boosts and stuff like break immersion. Your definition they do, but I don't think there's this disconnect between like, oh my god, it breaks immersion, unplayable. No, I don't think that sentiment isn't really felt. People seem to be okay with it.
I mean, people are okay with it, and that's I think the fact that MMORPGs are catering to that generality is the reason. It's one of the reasons why the genre is suffering. Okay.
I don't think so.
I definitely think so. Because
I think when you described immersion, it was such an important part of early MMORPGs. When the people that played these games were like hardcore D&D nerds, people that people that role play. Like role playing in public was more common in Ultima Online and EverQuest in the early days of MMORPGs. These are people that really cared about immersion. I mean, clearly the developers actually gave them tools to be a part of the immersion. There was like Ultima Online had stuff like chairs and tables that you can sit down. Like there's no gameplay elements, but people sat down, they drank beer, they role played. Like that immersion, I don't think is as important today as it was back then. You can still have it, but I don't think stuff like level boosts are going to break immersion. You can still have immersion, but I don't see like how can your hero not like if you're like a warrior already, why can't you be a rogue if you did some like training? You do quests, do some training.
You can. I'm all good with multi-classing. I'm all good with like.
You got to start level 1.
No. Actually, I think levels are bad, but that's a separate argument. My point: as you level, you learn skills, right? And as you cast spells, you cast more spells than you do. Like remember in EverQuest, like just going forward, sometimes you would learn skills like sense heading or whatever, right? If you like click the sense. Yeah. Okay, so there should be shared skills between classes, so that if you're level 70, if you're max level as a wizard, right, and you want to, and your wizard wants to learn how to use knives or daggers, right? He shouldn't quote start level quote 1, okay? Because the progress he made, the things he learned to get to level max as a wizard, some of that transfers over to being a good rogue, right? So so that should be accounted for. So he should start level like 70. Like if 70 is the max, maybe if he's a level 70 mage, he should start level like 50 as a rogue. Okay, that's fine. Or because there's some shared attributes there. But
that's fair.
But just paying or not even paying, but just clicking a button and becoming a wizard, or clicking a button and becoming a rogue, that totally breaks. At that point, you're playing a MOBA. And look, the thing about MMORPGs is they have to be greater than the sum of their parts. If an MMORPG is just instant dungeons, instant PvP, and then solo grinding, right? Just those three elements, but they're totally separated from each other, then it's pointless. There's no point. The whole genre is dead. Just write it off now. Stop playing. The whole point of MMORPGs for me is those three perspectives: PvP, PvE, and like the whole in town merchant trading stuff. That all comes together to create something that's worth more than those three aspects.
Well, I agree with you. I've always agreed with that concept. Again, that's one of the reasons I've emphasized for the longest time that combat isn't everything. Too many people get caught up in combat in an MMORPG, but combat is only one element. If you want good combat, don't go play an MMORPG. MMORPGs don't have good combat. Like, I'm sorry. Like, just if you want combat, go play a MOBA, go play Battle Royale, go play League of Legends. They're games built on combat and tactical, just fighting.
But that's true about everything. There's better combat games than MMORPGs. There's better PvE games than MMORPGs. There's better like economy games than MMORPGs.
Storytelling than MMORPGs. Yes,
exactly. There's better single player RPG like stories than MMORPGs. What makes MMORPGs great is all that stuff intertwined and connected. And once you start switching classes, races, genders, and you can just pay to transfer servers, even pay server transfers, I'm against. Because of that.
Well, I'm against servers and we should have one mega server.
Yeah, we should have one mega server. That's true. But all this stuff breaks immersion. It breaks the concept of an MMORPG. It's greater than the sum of its parts.
I agree. But what about the classes in Final Fantasy 14 where you can just change classes and level up a new class?
Oh, I like that. But I mean, I would make it better by kind of, like I said, sharing some kind of attributes, some kind of growth.
Well, they actually did have that system before, where like for example, in Final Fantasy, as a black mage, if I played Archer, I switched to Archer class, I get to level 15, I unlock an ability called like Raging Strikes. Right? It increases it's a skill that increases my damage output for like 10% for like 20 seconds. Right?
Okay.
And when I switch back to black mage, that's considered a shared skill.
Oh, that's nice.
So what you learn as an archer helps you as a black mage or any other class if you want. You can only have so many shared skill slots, right? So there's some resource attribute over there, but they require you to play other classes as well to get those abilities, which is kind of neat because you can grow as a player. You can become a better black mage by exploring other classes.
Yes,
I thought that was a really neat system.
It is.
But too bad they got axed. They got rid of it.
Really?
Now there's no shared skills.
Oh no.
When you play as an archer, you have your archer skills. When you play as a mage, you have black mage skills. There's no overlap anymore. So I think they did that because they didn't want players to feel like they had to level up all the classes.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because I think it provided a really neat way, an incentive to play the other classes too.
Let me whine about one more thing real quick here. I hate it when people are like, "Oh, gnomes can be warriors now with the next patch," or in Terra, like this class can be a gunner now.
Ellen can be gunners now. Yeah.
I hate that. Okay, because the whole point of the world, the immersion, the concept of the game world, is these certain classes are good at these things and bad at these things. If they can't do these things, they can do these things. What's the point of classes and races if everybody can just be everything? It totally defeats the purpose of it.
Yeah, gnomes shouldn't be able to be warriors, or maybe really shitty warriors. Like maybe there should be, maybe it could be a gnome warrior, but you have like half the HP as an ogre warrior or something, or like a big
did that.
And even EverQuest, you couldn't play every race, couldn't play every class, and that was kind of interesting too. I think the way races work now is they're just basically cosmetic.
Exactly,
like, races almost have zero impact on gameplay, which I absolutely hate. If you want to add a different race to a game, make them different enough. I know Final Fantasy 14's got some, like, there's like one to like 5 stat point differences between like all the races. It's literally nothing. It's so stupid. Make a class better at being a mage. Make a class better at being a warrior. Maybe give me a reason to play a class. I know old school WoW at least had like the way like class racial bonuses worked. Like Taurens had 2% more HP. Humans had perception, which gave them better like detection for invisible stuff. It was still not good, but it was better than what we're seeing today, where every race can play every class, and there's literally zero difference between the races. I hate that. We need to have more games that can. It's not even about immersion there. It just seems kind of silly. It's a gameplay thing too. It just seems bad.
Yeah, and I think MMORPGs are not dead. They will come back in a way when developers do realize this. They should not compete on being good at like all these different things. They should be good at combining these things and just stick with that.
I agree. I think somebody asked about classes as well. We had a pretty in-depth discussion last week about class imbalance, and people are saying classes are too similar in MMORPGs right now, which is I completely agree. Whether you play Revelation, you play Final Fantasy 14, you play World of Warcraft. When was the last time you've seen a cool class in an MMORPG? A class that's actually fun to play, that's actually something different, something you haven't seen in other MMORPGs. It's near impossible because so many game developers are so set on balance and worried about making their classes balanced that they kind of lose focus of what's fun. I think the most important aspect of a game is fun. And when you're worried so much about balance, I mean, you are catering towards a PvP crowd, and there is some benefit there, but you lose out on making distinct, interesting, unique classes, which I think is very unfortunate because some of the most fun games don't have to be balanced. Like balance is good, obviously, but don't lose balance just to have It's just so lame that all the classes are so stale these days. Every game's got a warrior, mage, and like the healer. These like archetypes of characters, and that's lame. There's got to be more than one way to play a character. There's got to be more than even suboptimal builds. There's got to be more variety and customization too on character growth. I feel like character growth and customization we're losing a lot of now too. Like Final Fantasy 14, I think the second most subscribed MMORPG after World of Warcraft on the subscription front has like zero customization, literally zero in terms of every black mage has access to every other black mage skills. There's not one iota of distinction besides gear. World of Warcraft, you have like some of the talent trees, but it almost feels like they've dumbed down the talent trees from I forget when they changed it, but I know Vanilla and Burning Crusade and some of the earlier expansions had a more specific talent tree, and that's all been dumbed down as well. So it's a lot less options.
All right.
Hey, welcome back.
I was holding that pee in for like the whole time.
Look, some of the most fun games I play are hilariously imbalanced. What I played the other day? I played 300 Heroes, and I had a blast.
Did you really?
Okay, I did, and it was hilarious.
Do you want to explain what that is real quick?
Okay, so just go back to link my video for 300 Heroes while we talk about it, because 300 Heroes is a quality imbalanced game. Okay, it's basically League of Legends style MOBA, but it takes place on it's League of Legends basically, but it's 7v7. And the map is identical to League of Legends. They actually copied the map identically to League of Legends. So the map is the same, the art style is the same, but you have I think 185 playable characters in the game that are all popular anime characters or from popular franchises. And it's a Chinese game, obviously, because copyright infringement up the ass. We're talking full-on copyright infringement. Literally no fucks given copyright infringement. There's you can play as One Piece characters, you can play as Naruto characters, you can play as Full Metal Alchemist characters. You can literally play as Wally in this game. Wally from the Disney movie. And it's amazing. You play as Yugimoto. They actually added some new characters recently, which makes it even more fun. So you can play as Neptunia. There's so many characters in this game, and it's so hilariously imbalanced because there's one character in the game called Mikasa from Attack on Titan, and she can just literally fly around the map one-shotting everyone. There's not even one iota of balance, but it's hilarious and fun, and I'm going to play it again probably later tonight.
That's amazing.
It's literally a fiesta. If you enjoy MOBAs, just fucking play this game, all right? It's called 300 Heroes. Maybe I'll drop the link in the after show, but if you Google it, you'll find it as well. Free to play. But like it's 7 versus 7 too, so like there's no balance. My favorite part is though like the jungle creeps in this game. So you walk into the jungle, and where the golems are supposed to be. You see like 2 Pokemon. The dungeons, the jungle mobs are literally Pokemon, like completely randomly. So you'll see like a Nidoking where blue buff is supposed to be, or a Nidoqueen where red buff is supposed to be, and you'll see Cubone and Marowak where the golem spot's supposed to be. And like in League, you can buy the Hunter's Machete, which gives you 10% increased damage like jungle minions. Instead, you buy a Pokeball in this game. So the Pokeball gives you 10% bonus damage to like the jungle minions. It makes no sense, but it's hilarious. There's no balance. Some heroes are just OP. Other heroes suck dick. But it doesn't matter. The game is huge. It's so popular because it's just hilariously fun. Because balance be damned.
Actually, having seen this, and you mentioned League of Legends. So League of Legends released a new esports video. Omar, I know you were impressed by it. So okay, I'm gonna play it. And then, should I play the audio though? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
What do you think? Is it worth playing this video? I think it's worth playing it. It's 2 minutes, guys. Here we go.
All right, play it. Play it.
Full video here. All right, here we go, guys. Let's watch together as a team. Here we go.
As a pro team.
And the E-League. I don't know if that's sports. It's a great mind savvy.
It's a great video, by the way. I liked it a lot.
But I don't know if athlete is the right word that I would go for. If you don't break a sweat, I don't consider it a sport.
No, you do.
Watching people play video games isn't like watching people play football. It's like watching people play fantasy football. It is one more step removed from human activity. You understand?
It's video games. It shouldn't be on a sports network. It's video games.
But can it truly be a spectator sport?
It already is. 71 million
Shut up, Jimmy.
watched it last year. They reckon it's going to, by 2017, it'll be 145 million people watching it.
They're actually giving college scholarships for video gaming.
You're kidding.
And it's even gone to the point that now the government has acknowledged professional video gamers as athletes.
Same way you'd watch a football match, you can hear the crowd, everyone's cheering the team on, you make friends, these are people you talk to, you play with online. It's all about community, it's being part of something that you're incredibly passionate about.
Running for Barrett though right now, trying to establish vision control and force Ambition! Ambition steals the Elder Dragon! He gets away! He's alive! This is a 4-Drake Elder Dragon! He lives! Ambition saves the game once again!
Not just a sport. Our sport. Look, I'm all good with the community part, but here's the thing. I'm not a sports person. I don't watch a single sport. Omar knows this, okay? But what I don't get is why are video game companies so obsessed with this whole it being a sport? Why can't it just be esports? Like, why does it have to be sports? Like, why can't you just be esports, okay? And just that's great. It's cool. It's it's big. Like, why does it have to be? Why do you have to define it as sports? I don't get it.
Because it is a sport.
Sure.
In the same way everything else. Yeah, it's a sport.
But
why shouldn't you call it that?
So then should the other sports come up with a new term? for themselves?
No. Why? Why are you? But these.
So it's easier.
Why
for
are you trying to
people-
exclude?
I'm not excluding. I'm saying it's like saying in movies, right? There's like horror movies and stuff, like, you know what I'm saying. So why can't the whole point of categories is to help people, maneuver.
And you realize in sports there's a lot of categories. Like there's like ice sports. There's like
so esports. It's just
winter sports.
Have it be esports.
Sure. Esports is still sports.
Oh, sure.
You can still call them esports, but they're still sports.
Okay, but just call.
And the point of the video was that they're dismissing it as a sport. Esports is a subcategory of sports.
Okay. But
Do I draw the circles for you?
no, I'm good. I admitted that. I said okay.
Okay, so that's the problem. When you dismiss it as not being a sport and being its own esport thing, it's almost like excluding it, which is kind of silly. And I can see why like other sports don't want more competition. I guess in that term, sports. Maybe that's why they want to do. I don't know.
I don't think that's why, because a lot of these
Seeing people dismiss.
a lot of these pro teams are actually buying esports teams, so obviously they don't see it like as an exclusion thing.
Cup stacking is a sport.
Cup stacking is a sport. Have you seen those videos?
Yeah, take a look. If cup stacking is a sport, why the hell isn't esports?
I was baffled by these cup stacking videos. Holy shit!
So you think cup stacking is a sport, but this is not?
They're both sports. But
how do you define what a sport is? Like, I bet these guys playing. Okay, fine. They're both sports. They're both sports. We're fine.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, why are they chasing this recognition?
Because that's what it is. They don't have to.
But
why should they chase?
But they should. They don't need it.
They're being denied reality.
No. If League of Legends by itself is so big, right? Why does it need like the sports world's recognition? Like, why are they going after that? Like, who cares?
It's not that they're going after it. That video was kind of poke fun at people.
That video was going after it. They're trying to prove their video.
Was to prove that they're right, and basically they did prove they're right. People made fun of esports because it wasn't like a real thing, but now there's millions of people watching it. The U.S. government has recognized visa applications as athletes for esports. Why?
Well, because we have no better word for it right now.
They're athletes.
But why can't we have a more defined term?
We do, but esport athlete.
Elites. Elite. Right there. Elite. E-athlete is elite, okay? There you go.
So, I don't know. I kind of like the approach they took. They basically said, we're right, and we were right all along. You were silly to dismiss us and whatnot. And I think it was a great video from League of Legends.
It was a good video. It was a little fun, but it was good.
The amount of, like, the emotions that those players go through, the professional players, like, and at the end of a tournament, like, if they win or lose, it's legit. Like, it's no more like what their accomplishments are, their failures, their endeavors are no less than a basketball team playing. It's the same thing. Yes, the physical activity is different. You burn more calories playing basketball. All right.
I will say, oh god, I was gonna say. I had a good point on my mind, but I forgot it now. I should have said it sooner.
There is physical effort in esports. Actually, if you play it, the chess masters burn through thousands of calories throughout the playing chess because they exert their mind. All right, that burns a lot of calories. The chess grandmasters burn a lot of calories playing chess.
Okay, here's the question: how many of the top League of Legends players were at the tournament, at the final, at the grand finals, world finals? Okay, how many of the players? What percent of the players do you think were using mind-enhancing drugs like Adderall or something to focus?
Probably a lot.
I bet you they were all using it.
All right, I want to emphasize this quote real quick before we move on because people are saying physical activity is important. According to a TED Talk, neurologist Robert Spolatsky made the claim that a chess grandmaster can burn up to 6,000 to 7,000 calories per day just from playing chess.
Yeah,
that's like more than an hour. That's more than 5 hours of running, of sprinting at full speed. 10 hours of running at full speed. That's literally more than if you had a treadmill all fucking day.
Yeah.
And the guy's playing chess, and you're gonna say that's not physical activity? He's burning those calories more than physical activity. All right.
Brain actually
chess is more of a sport than basketball. You heard it here first, boys.
The brain takes up a lot of energy, or like a disproportionate amount of human energy. But anyway, how long do you think before like doping becomes an issue in esports, where like you're gonna have people have blood tests before they play their match? Like, oh man, look at that guy going 20-0 with Singed. Drug test. The blood test proves that he was actually doping. That's why he did 20-0. There's no human who could do it without doping.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be an issue the same way for the longest time in sports. They never looked at that shit, but it's a real issue, obviously.
Oh man, that's gonna be so funny. Are they gonna disqualify like people's performance based on like them taking Adderall or something?
Mm-hmm. As the scene matures, no doubt the standards will change. So I don't know. Chess is, I think esports is a sport, and it seems pretty obvious to me that's a sport, and it just seems kind of silly to say it's not a sport. Look, like it's a different kind of sport. I mean, the sports world accepts like dressage and shooting as sports. Like it's insane that people saying that esports is not a sport, but their same position defends like dressage or like these other bullshit Olympic games or shooting as a sport. Like those are no more sports than esports. There's more activity in League of Legends or CS:GO than there is in shooting or hunting. But hunting is a sport. I feel like hunting is literally a sport. Nobody disputes that.
The longer we do this podcast, the more I realize that like the world repeats itself because we have the same.
True. That's true. That's true. We've had this conversation.
Well, we are out of time actually, guys. Surprisingly, this went really quickly. IMO. We will
stick to the post game.
Yeah, we will stick around in the post game and keep going. So if you're watching on Twitch, stay tuned. If you're watching on YouTube, catch us live on the Twitch next time, and that way you can hear the full story. Thanks so much for watching, guys.
Later for YouTube.
Yep.
We'll be hanging around.
Take care.